Welcome to Show Em The Dore, your mom's favorite video essay. I am your host, Christopher Conway, and this is my lovely, beautiful co-host, Willem Azzinnaro. We're excited to be back another week. There's been a lot that has happened in this past week, and so we're excited to talk about all the different things. You might notice that you're like, wow, it really feels like we're in the room with them, and that's because we have new audio equipment. And so it should,
He's right.
I am right. It should feel more maybe intimate, maybe like I'm reading you a story by a candlelit fire.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, you hear a
I was
little
gonna say it's
crackle in the
probably
back.
clearer, and I was gonna leave it at that.
No, it's.
But that's
Let me tell you a story, child.
we've lost all our viewership.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could say whatever at this point, but
No one's listening. They're all like,
yeah.
oh, Lord.
Oh, loud? No, this can't be. But, so we have baseball games to talk about. We have men's basketball games to talk about. We have women's basketball games to talk about. And that is it.
That's not it. We have a big announcement.
Oh, yes.
It's your announcement.
I'm regarding sports. I'm not talking about the housekeeping
Well,
items.
I'm sorry. I thought housekeeping would be on the agenda.
I mean, of course, but I was also giving a preview of the different games.
That's what they
But
all
there
say.
are, I would say, a couple big housekeeping items.
Really?
Yeah. One of the housekeeping items is the fact that next week we'll be having special guest Julian Hernandez on the podcast.
Julian.
Julian's a good guy. I've had a few classes with him, and we had Ben Cox on as our last guest. So we're just kind of keeping the trend of offensive linemen coming in.
It'd be good.
But he's a good guy. I'm excited for him to come on the pod next
Hoping
week.
and praying that he gets ice cream before games so we can talk about it.
Yeah, hoping and praying, and dreaming,
Mashallah.
having aspirations, actively desiring. With
That's
that
true.
being said, I also wanted to take a second to address a tragedy that occurred Tuesday. A tragedy occurred at roughly 10:13 on Tuesday.
10:13.
10:13 a.m.
Oddly specific.
It is oddly specific because it's like one of those moments where you always know where you are when it happens. I've heard about that with 9/11. I've heard about that when Osama bin Laden got killed. And this is of equal magnitude.
Oh my God. It's
At 10:13.
You went 9/11, Osama bin Laden, and then what could be next? In the vein of terrorism, things like that.
In the vein of terrorism, at 10:13 on Tuesday, March the 22nd, I looked at my email and I saw one email from Vanderbilt, and it said, "Hey, we're rebranding." And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Nobody asked for that, but okay. And I opened the rebranding email, and I proceed to see the nastiest logos I have ever seen in my whole life. I don't know if any of you have seen the new Vanderbilt logo. I hope you haven't, for your eyes' sake. But it was done by the same people who did the History Channel, and it's extremely evident. It's like a V with some spikes. It looks like if you took Xavier's X but cut off the bottom part.
And then made it gold.
And made it gold. They also put out some really ugly V-stars that they have since updated to a point where it looks like the ones from like 1970, which are actually a lot better in my opinion. It's like a star with a V in it that like is a little slanty. It's nice. I'm okay with the new V stars because I think the old one does kind of look like it was made in MS Paint. But just like the overall logo, I loved the V with the oak leaf in it. I wish that was more it was put to different like the athletics program, and that was more popularized instead of whatever the heck this V is.
I don't know. I don't think the leaf in the V would have gone over well for the athletics. I think that's more of an academic thing. Like,
sure, but they got rid of that too.
That's good for that's Vanderbilt academics. Vanderbilt athletics, I couldn't imagine slapping that on a football helmet and being like, that's good. I couldn't in good conscience do that.
I mean, what's on our football helmets right now? Just like, it's just the V-Star.
Well, it's right in front of us.
Yeah, like, I assume they're going to keep the anchor and the chain.
They better.
And then I hope they put the new V-Star on. Well, no, I know what they look like, actually, because I saw it. It just has the new V on the side. It looks ugly. Like, it's just not, it's not nice. It's not a good logo. It's tragic. And I am thoroughly upset by it. And I think that it should be, there's been a petition for Vanderbilt students to, like, against the new logos.
Yeah, to bring back the old one.
I knew 2 hours. Yeah, I knew 2 hours in, I got like 700 signatures because nobody likes it. Nobody asked for it, and nobody likes it. But with that being said, I think that's all the housekeeping items that I have.
Yeah.
Do you have any housekeeping items, Willem?
Are we gonna tell them about the next guest, even though we haven't locked on a date?
No, we do have a verbal commitment from another guest. However, since we don't have a date, we're gonna keep that one up in the air for a little bit longer.
Yeah, we'll make a big announcement because this will be.
It'll be.
I think debatably our biggest guest.
Yeah, I think it would.
Not the biggest.
Not biggest.
Ben's the biggest.
Yeah, Spencer. Depends on what your definition of big is.
Yeah, because like Spencer kind of scrawny.
Spencer is not scrawny.
Compared to like
he's just
Ben
6'9".
Ben and Julian are just big men.
They're offensive linemen.
They're men.
He's probably the most high profile player.
Everybody knows him, especially after the past few weeks. Everybody knows him.
He's a high profile player.
We're in talks with him. We'll let y'all know when we lock down a date for that, and that'll be a big event. Yeah. So keep your ears open.
Hopefully it'll be in a couple weeks.
Keep them open.
Yeah. But that's all the housekeeping items.
Dive in.
So let's go into the actual sporting events of this week.
I do like sporting events.
Beginning with baseball.
Baloncesto.
So since our last episode, we have played all of 4 baseball games.
Indeed.
We had SEC opening weekend versus Missouri, as well as 1 midweek game versus Belmont. And so going through the Missouri game, the first game we started Chris McIlvaine, and McIlvaine has turned out to be a legitimate day one SEC starter. Man has gone crazy. He pitched 7 innings, and I mean, he struck out like 13 people. He is legitimately that guy. Mm-hmm. We beat them by it was like 15-2. Our bats were on. Chris McIlvaine was pitching wonderful. He only let up 2 single home run shots. It reminded me of a Jack Leiter game last year. Not the fact that McIlvaine has the control and the finesse that Jack Leiter does, but the only thing that you could say about Jack Leiter is that he gave up some home runs. It was like 70% of his earned runs came through the home run.
Wow.
Yeah, because, I mean, he just doesn't allow hits. Like, if you hit on Jack Leiter, it's out of the park. And that's what it felt like on Friday with Chris McIlvaine pitching. My all-star of the game, other than that was in the field anyway, I'm going to give it to Carter Young, because it's finally seeming like we're getting Carter Young from old back. Mm-hmm. Carter he had a great freshman season before we were even at Vanderbilt. And then his sophomore year, everyone was projecting him to be a first-round shortstop after this year. But as the season went on and he got hurt a couple times, his production just dropped. And you could see that coming into this season. He had some inconsistencies in his game. He wasn't as confident as a switch hitter. But recently, he started getting power back in the right hand of his batting. And he's hit, I think, home runs in a couple, at least during the weekend. I think he hit home runs in 2 consecutive games.
Yeah.
Overall on the weekend, I think he batted over 500 against the Missouri pitchers. And he just looked like himself again. Like, he put a beautiful bunt down, got on base. He has all the power that he used to have. It's seeming like it's more consistent. There was a graphic that was put in the Sunday game where him and Tate Colwick on the weekend had gone like 12 of 21 of their collective batting with like 4 home runs and like 14 extra base hits. So I think that I guess I'll give my MVPs to the middle infield because him and Carter Young and Tate Colwick had amazing weekends.
Yep. Yeah.
Moving to the Saturday game, we swept the series. So we're 3-0 in SEC play, which is huge. We went from a 14 game winning streak to I believe a 17 through the weekend. We're winning every single game. We haven't lost since the first series versus Oklahoma State. And then in the second game, Carter Holton pitched 7 innings, and he looked as pro-ready as they come. He has complete command. What are you doing?
Look at my phone. It's buzzing.
Okay. He has complete command over all of his pitches. I projected a no-hitter for him in the game, and he did not have a no-hitter. I think he let up 3 hits. But I think 2 of them were in the first 2 innings.
Yeah.
And after those first 2 innings, he really settled in and then had 5 innings where almost nobody made any contact with the ball. It was beautiful. And then Christian Little had one of his best outings in relief where he pitched 2 innings and struck out, like, I think 5 out of the 6 batters he faced.
It was in a row, too.
Yeah, it might have been 4, but Christian Little had a great outing versus the second day of Missouri. So then moving into the third day is the only day that we even struggled potentially, and we won the game 7-4. We started with Hunter Owen pitching. And Hunter Owen, he is okay. I like Hunter Owen. I don't think he is a SEC weekend pitcher right now. And I would be the person to say we should start Devin Futrell there over Hunter Owen. Maybe there's something that the coaches know that I don't. But I really believe that he would be it'd be worthwhile to especially start him against when we've already won the series versus Missouri. The Sunday win, it matters, but, when you think that you already are going to win anyway, it might be good to kind of put in somebody that you want some development with. Mm-hmm. And I think Devin Futrell really could have shined in that opportunity because he's another star freshman, in my opinion, that probably should break the lineup. Nick Maldonado still has an oblique injury, and I read an article that said he could have played 2 weekends ago, but he wouldn't have been his best, and so I was really surprised that he didn't play last weekend. But in my opinion, they're maybe trying to get him to mentally reset some because he's had a rough start of the season, and I think that he could probably do well with a little bit of a mental reset. You're okay, time to get out there and pitch like you were. But at the same time, I still kind of think that Maldo would be best used as a top-tier closer for Vanderbilt baseball. I understand that he wants to be a starter because it gets him more money in the majors. But in terms of what would be best for Vanderbilt baseball, I think he should be a closer. On Sunday, we had a lot of pitchers pitch because Hunter Owen lost his control in the 3rd inning, or maybe the 4th inning. And then we had Patrick Riley come in, and Patrick Riley normally has a very solid outing. What I've noticed about Pat is he might walk a guy, but then he'll find the strike zone like that, and then he'll come back and really, really pitch well for 4 innings. And I'll say it wasn't his best outing. He put up some zeros. He didn't actually allow a run in the time that he was out, but it was stressful zeros, if that makes sense. It's not like he was striking out the side. It was, you left 2 runners in scoring position and then you finally got the guy out. It wasn't confident by any stretch. And then we had Nelson Berkwich come in, and he did really, really well. I think Nelson Berkwich is pretty underrated as a person in general. And then Jack Anderson and Thomas Schultz also came into pitch, where Thomas Schultz was awarded a save. So if I had to give my dream starting pitching for the weekend, it would be McIlvain and Bryce Cunningham, which we've been doing, and that's what we did on Friday. Bryce Cunningham is another freshman that is pretty highly touted. But he needs more development than both Holton and Futrell. But he's doing well as a closer early in the season. The second, on Saturday, it would be Carter Holton and Christian Little. And then I would like on Sunday to have Devin Futrell pitch 4, Pat Riley pitch 3, and Nick Maldonado pitch 2. And I really believe that all those people could get us through a very, very, very clean weekend where we could use Hunter Owen and we could use Jack Anderson and Nelson Berkwich. And all of those guys can get you innings somewhere where somebody struggles. But if that was our projected 3-game lineup, I think that's wonderful. If you want, like I didn't even say Thomas Schultz, I don't believe. And Thomas Schultz gets you 2 innings as a closer like that. And so if on the 4th day you wanted to throw out Hunter Owen, who on a 4th day can put up maybe 3 innings, and then we could put up Berkwich, who in my opinion needs more opportunities. I think he can put up like 2 innings, maybe 3. I think that we can piece together a 4th game with all the different pitchers that we have, because we have plenty. The main problem with Vanderbilt baseball right now, which it isn't really a problem, it's do you wonder if later in the year we're going to get more consistent in the bats like we should, or if we're going to become more inconsistent like we did last year. Because I'm looking at everybody in our batting order. I believe in Enrique to get on base, even though his batting average has not been what it probably should be. I really want Enrique to be... Enrique, in my opinion, has kind of fallen in love with his power. And that makes sense, because if you can hit it out of the park, you kind of want to swing like you're going to hit it out of the park. But at the same time, as good as Enrique is in terms of hitting for power, I would almost rather him as a leadoff hitter get on first base than hit a home run. Because it isn't as much about the run. Like, I think that 1 run at the very start of the game is somewhat negligible. But I think that getting in the pitcher's head, having a guy on first base and having them throw 5 times over and worrying about Enrique Bradfield Jr. on base is arguably more valuable than him hitting a solo shot at the very start of the game.
Yeah, the difference there is the opposing pitcher's like, oh, well, he just took it out. That's okay.
Yeah.
I can get over it. It's just 1 run. I believe in my guys. They can do it. Move on to this next guy. Focus. When Enrique is on base, he's like, okay, he's on base. Got to think about that. Got to strike out this guy or do something. Maybe set up a double play. Oh, I got to make sure he doesn't steal. It's just so much more to think about. You can't just be like, oh,
and then let
me just not think about that hit. When if you don't, he's on second already.
Yeah, and the thing is,
because he steals like a maniac.
Yeah, and it also defeats pitchers because he thinks about it so much, and then he still steals, and then he beats 90% of catchers and 90. I would say 8% of catchers in the NCAA. Yeah. I haven't seen a catcher that can consistently get Enrique Bradfield.
Not now that CJ is in the league.
Rest in peace, CJ. I miss him so much.
I hope he has a really good.
I hope he has a wonderful career.
I think he will,
because he is great. So then going through the lineup. We have our 2 spot right now is Davis Diaz, and I wonder how long it is before Carter Young takes that spot. Not because I think that Carter Young right now is a better hitter than Davis Diaz, but I mean, in this weekend he has been, sure. But Davis Diaz has been hitting amazingly. I think Carter in the 2 spot makes more sense because he's faster than Davis. He has more power than Davis. I think that how I would envision almost every inning to go, if I could at the very start, is Enrique bunts almost or something like that, gets to first base. Then he steals second, and then Carter sends a shot into the gap and gets him home. Or he just slaps it to right field, and that gets Enrique home. And I don't feel like Davis has been hitting, but it's been so weak that it doesn't get Enrique home, if that makes sense. Whereas I feel like Carter has a little bit more power, that he could get it more of like a gap shot rather than a hit that drops over the first baseman's head. And I think that, I mean, not to say that Davis has done a bad job. Davis has done a wonderful job in the 2 spot. He is, in my opinion, the second best freshman on the team. That's just because Carter, in my opinion, might be the best pitcher we have. I really like Diaz. But I almost want him in the 6th spot. Because how my dream, well, let's go through the people and then we'll talk about my dream lineup real quick.
Yeah.
So, but Davis has done well in the 2 spot. I have no qualms with him by any stretch of the imagination. Spencer Jones at 3, he's been hitting well. He has more power in the bat than almost anybody I've ever seen. Man hits it 900 feet.
Who?
Spencer. When Spencer gets behind a ball, like I think Dominic Keegan is the most reliable hitter that we have in terms of power. But when Spencer Jones gets a ball, like it looks like the easiest swing you've ever seen, and then it goes 600 feet, and you're like, well,
we saw it a little bit last year. You saw it in the Cape Cod League this summer, and now he's really doing it. This spring.
He's hitting really well in the 3 spot, and then Dom's obviously hitting really, really well in the 4 spot. The 5 spot we have Gavin Casas generally, and I like Gavin. I think my Gavin's been playing first, and I think Gavin should stay at first. I don't think we'll get to that actually. So this is I'm going off of our normal Friday lineup. So Gavin's at first. So then the 6th spot is Jack Bolger DHing, and I kind of don't want Jack Bolger to start. I'd rather give Jack Bolger's DH spot to somebody like Troy LaNeve or Parker Noland, or I would even consider TJ McKenzie.
Yep.
Just because I think all those people do what Jack Bolger does, except potentially better. I think Parker is more experienced than Jack Bolger and has a mixture of hitting gap and home runs whenever he's on. He just had a rough start of the season. I think Troy LaNeve has more power than any of them. Mm-hmm. And I think TJ McKenzie has hit really well in the limited opportunities that I've seen him, and I haven't seen him enough. And I think that there's a chance he could be a star.
Yeah.
But I don't love Jack Bolger. I don't love him as a catcher either. I'd keep Dom at catcher, even though I would keep Dom at catcher the entirety of the time. So then after Jack, it's Javi. And Javi's been hitting fine. I find it kind of odd he's so low in the lineup.
Yeah.
But all of our hitters are just so good right now.
Last year we put him at the 2 in the College World Series.
True, but that was because Carter was terrible.
True.
That's just because he had hurt
Carter's back.
Well,
we've got guys like that.
We have Carter and Davis Diaz, both of whom I think actually fit in the 2 spot
those
better
guys
than
work
Javi.
for the 2.
And really, the 6 spot is almost exactly what the 2 is.
Just like
we have three guys who I think fit in the 2 spot, which are Davis Diaz, Carter Young, Javier Vaz. But we'll get there. So then Tate has been hitting in the 8 spot, and Tate's been absolutely destroying balls. I think he has like 7 home runs.
Tate's incredible.
Tate is
good
incredible.
in the field.
He's everything you want out of a senior second baseman.
It's incredible.
It's great. Like
he's good.
He will hit just bloop shots if he needs to. He'll hit 3-run home runs. He'll hit bases clearing triples. Like, he is everything that you want out of a hitter. And I would say, actually, other than Dominic, he is our second most reliable hitter.
Yeah,
I think
good.
Yeah, there have been very few times where I've been like, okay, we really need to hit Tate, and then he didn't hit.
Yeah. I think he's one of like the top players on the team that I feel like you wouldn't think of. Like, if I name, okay, these are the top 5 guys on the team, Tate wouldn't come to mind.
No, it'd be,
if I'm being honest,
Enrique at number 1. Wait, are you talking about pitchers too or in the field?
Yeah, just anybody.
I mean, I think our
Enrique, Carter.
I would say Dominic Keegan. I'd say Spencer Jones over him.
Yeah, I just wouldn't think of him. I don't know why. I just wouldn't think of him.
It's because he does all the dirty work.
Exactly. He gets all the stuff done that you need to get done to win. He makes the plays in the field. He made a nice catch.
Yeah, there was a thing, he just like jumped in the air and caught like on a full extension above his head. It was a beautiful catch.
Yeah, it would have been Gap had he not.
Yeah, it would have been at minimum a double had he not done it. But
I also like his little
he does
pre-pitch thing that he does.
Yeah, he like has like a lunge and then he like goes down and does like a little jump. I don't know why he does it, but he does.
It
warms up his muscles or something.
Yeah, it makes him like react.
And then in the 9 spot we have Carter Young. So and Carter Young I've expressed the praises.
Carter Young in the 9?
We have Carter Young in the 9.
That's odd.
Yeah, and so if I were to have a lineup, here is what...
I don't know who I would put in the 9 is the issue there.
Here's what I would do. I want Enrique 1, Carter 2, Davis 3, Dom 4, Javi 5, 6 be
Davis.
No, Davis was at the 3.
Really?
Yeah, I put Davis at the 3.
Where's Spencer?
Spencer, we're getting to Spence.
Okay.
Spencer, I'll have an 8.
Oh.
Because I want him the second cleanup man. I want our new DH being Parker at the 6, Javi at the 7, and then who am I missing? At the 9.
Gavin.
Oh yeah, and I'll take Gavin at the 9. Easy.
Okay.
It's an interesting switch of the lineup. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference.
No.
I'm okay. Like I'm not Coach Corbs.
They hit well.
Yeah. The thing is if you put Parker or any of those guys in and they hit well, there is not a person on the lineup that isn't hitting well.
Yeah.
The only person that I look up there and I'm like, oh,
I'm not fully certain.
I'm like, whoa, that's not the best in terms of us getting a hit. It is Jack Bolger right now, and he's just slumping. Like he is a good hitter.
Oh yeah.
He is like the thing is Jack is the streakiest hitter I know.
Yeah.
Like he'll hit like 4 times out of 4 at bats, and then he'll go cold for the next 12. And so it's like,
it's tough.
It's like, yeah, you're batting 250, but you're batting 1 and then 0.
Yeah.
You know, it's, and so I would prefer somebody like an Parker Noland who hits like 320 and can have enough power somewhat reliably. I don't know. It's just, I think that we should definitely be tweaking the lineup a little bit when it comes to Jack. I also think that Dominic Keegan should be our only catcher.
Yeah. I don't think it's close.
No.
Because Alan Espinal is another guy up in the conversation for catcher. I think he's just not it.
The guy
batting or catching.
The guy that will be playing catcher next season is a guy named like McGlocky or something like that. He's a freshman this year. He's redshirting. He was given the number 5 by Coach Corbs. And historically, our catchers have worn number 5 at Vanderbilt.
Really?
CJ wore number 5.
Yeah, CJ was 5.
The catcher before him that was a starter for multiple years was 5, and the catcher before him that started for multiple years was 5.
He's been dubbed number 5.
He's been given the number 5.
Wow, that's a big deal.
That's a big, because Coach Corb gives out every single number.
Yep.
And so I think that next year he'll probably be starting, if I had to guess.
Is every number like as meaningful as that?
He has said that he gives meaning to every single number that he gives out.
I know Spencer's, he's just like, well, I mean, if, we can pitch, this number works for that too. Here's 34. And that just seemed like what Spencer made it out to be. But I like that. I like the 5.
So that's pretty much it for baseball. Oh, we also played Belmont. It wasn't televised. I didn't get to, there was no fans in the stands either because they had a staffing issue at First Horizon Park, which I don't know why they just didn't bring it to the Hawk then, because there was no fans. It wasn't televised. It literally was just 2 teams playing like a baseball game with nobody watching.
Well, that's odd.
Yeah,
we won though.
Yeah,
so
we beat them. We beat them off of a 10-run 5th inning. And Parker went like 2 for 4 with a home run, I think. Mm-hmm. And so I'm hoping he breaks out of his slump, gets back in the lineup, because I like Parker Nolan. He's from Knoxville. I have a class with him, and I want to get him on the podcast.
He's from Farragut.
Yes, he is from Farragut.
That's where the dude that owns Waste Management lives, eh?
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
But
he lives in a mansion.
So
it's insane.
It's
the biggest building like I've ever seen in my life. I just want to take a minute to appreciate the home that the waste management guy lives in.
Yeah, the garbage man.
The garbage man.
Garbage man. It's not a garbage man.
It's like The Godfather, but like the garbage man.
It's the garbage man.
And it's insane. But yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, it was so yeah, that's all of baseball. We play South Carolina this weekend, who was just swept by Tennessee.
Oh, Lord.
And they have a lot of people that were in their starting lineup that have left, so I think that there is a chance we start off 6-0 in conference play.
Yeah, they're not going to pose a threat, in my opinion.
What I want to see is, somebody other than Jack Bolger in our DH spot. I want to see the continued growth of Gavin Costas as a hitter, who has hit really, really well to start, but I don't want him to tail off kind of like Troy Lanieve did last year. And I want to see a better start from Carter Holton, because I feel like he was a little shaken going into SEC play.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving on, I guess, to women's basketball. So that
yes, and then we'll go back to bed. So my question remains: is my computer dead? Hey, it's dead.
Well,
I had the stuff pulled up, but we've played two games, and they're both NIT games because we were or WNIT games rather, because I'm sure we told you last podcast that our women's team was selected for the WNIT, which is the Women's National Invitational Tournament. It's a big deal. It's a little different than the men's. The men's is only 32 teams. Women's is a full 64.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's fun. So there's a bunch of teams in there. It's just like the regular tournament, except with other teams.
Yeah.
It's a really cool opportunity for us to be in there. Because with the men, it's like, well, you win 2 games and you're real close. With the woman, it's the whole process.
So are we in a Sweet 16?
Yes. I mean, it's not called the Sweet 16 for copyright reasons.
Yeah, it's the Super 16.
No, it's the third round is what they call it.
It's the sensational 16.
It's the rather cool 16.
It's the somewhat okay 16.
It's the 16.
It's the soke 16.
It's the ACAC 16.
It's the acai 16.
But yeah, we're in it, whatever it is. I guess I gave away.
Yeah, we spoiled that, eh?
Yeah, but first round was versus Murray State at home. We couldn't see it because we were actively filming a podcast for you, our listeners. So we couldn't watch it, but we ended up winning 75-47. It was not even sort of close.
That's what we did to Murray State.
Yeah, legitimately, the Murray State Racers from Murray, Kentucky, came down to Memorial and got absolutely
annihilated.
It was terrible. It was legitimately not even a game. It was really bad. It was a great game for us. I had some things pulled up on my computer, but it was really good. Our defense was solid again. We held them to 40-something points. They had a 5-point fourth quarter. That's defense, baby. That's all that they died. Yeah, they scored 5 points. That's 2, maybe 3 shots.
Yeah, that's
maybe
sad.
Free throw line.
That's sad.
Like that's tough, man. Put Chris and I out there. We're making at least 1 point. They're not that much ahead of us.
Yeah,
that's just tough, man, for the poor Racers. So their season came to an end just down yonder. Great game.
5 points.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
So, riding that win, which offensively we did well because we put up 75 points. Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. For a defensively built team this year, that's good stuff. Really Jordan Cambridge, I know, played well. It was really just
we want to, and we want to get her on the pod whenever we can.
Yes, Jordan, we are going to
to direct message you after you guys win the WNIT.
Yeah, after y'all win, we're on to you. Or really anyone else. If you just want to come talk to us on the podcast, we don't care who you are.
It just has to be one at a time because we only have 3 mics.
That is very true. We're accepting applications. Really, you don't even need to be anybody because, Olivia was on.
That's true.
Then again, she does hold a position of power, i.e. your girlfriend.
Okay. Well,
the previous rule was you have to be an athlete or dating one of us. Yeah. And that was the rule. We could amend it to just anybody. If you want to come on, let me know, and we'll arrange something. It'll be cool. And here's our guest, whomever.
And you're like, what's your name?
He does nothing. Anyways, we moved on to round 2. It was against Liberty. I'm not fully sure how the WNIT works seeding-wise, because there aren't seed numbers.
They just throw 64 teams and give them a random one.
Yeah, and then how do you decide who plays at home? If there's no seed number. I look on the official WNIT website. There are not one seed number. And I'm like, that's odd. So we hosted Liberty.
You flip a coin.
It's a coin toss. Liberty, I believe they're from Virginia.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Liberty, Virginia.
Was it Maryland?
No. You're incorrect. It was another interesting game. We hosted. Don't know why. I assume we're seated higher than them. I don't really understand why we hosted against Murray State, because they went 24-6 on the season. They had a better record than us. So I'm not really sure. I just don't know how it works with hosting. But we hosted Liberty, and Liberty.
They're from Lynchburg,
Liberty Mutual.
Virginia.
Yeah, I told you. We beat Liberty Mutual's basketball team. We beat 73-41.
We beat Limu, the Emu, and Doug.
We totaled them. It was 73-41.
They're gonna need insurance after that.
Of win. That sucked. Their deductible's gonna go.
Yeah, their deductible's gonna go sky high.
Only pay for what you need.
That's true.
And evidently they need a point guard, a shooting guard, a power forward, a center, a new coach. Because they're bad, man. They're not good. Ayanna Moore, whom is the future.
Praise be to
Ayanna Moore, mashallah, alhamdulillah. I said that one wrong, but
That's okay.
Alhamdulillah, whatever.
It's okay.
It's like Hey There Delilah, but not.
Oh.
Alhamdulillah. So I'm obviously still working on my Arabic. What can I say? I have a bad teacher.
It's true.
So Ayanna Moore, whom is the future of the program, she set the record for fastest to get to 100 points, because she's a unit. She scores really well. She throws the ball well. That sounded weird. She dishes up the rock is what I meant to say. But she throws. She said she's a distributor.
Okay.
She rebounds. She does it all. Defensively, she's not a standout on our team, because we have a lot of good defenders. Why are you looking like that?
Nothing.
You're suppressing a yawn, and you're like,
no, I wasn't doing nothing.
Yeah. So I think she's gonna be great. I think in 3 years' time, she will be one of the top 5 greatest that have ever played here.
Oh, really?
I think she'll be Shane Foster level.
Really?
Woman. She's very good. She put up 25 in that big NIT win, WNIT win against Liberty, because Liberty sucks. Jordan Cambridge put up 15, I want to say double-digit assists and 2 or 3 steals, because she's a unit. Praise be to Jordan Cambridge. So it was just great. Great runs, great stuff. Tonight, maybe right now, check the time. What time is it?
6:13.
Good grief, the Gonzaga game's on. You talked for 50 years. Tonight in, 17 minutes? By the time you guys see it, it'll either be going or over. We play Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro. So, if you're in Murfreesboro, get a ticket. It'll be cool. We didn't get to go because we have classes tomorrow, which is kind of lame.
It wasn't because we have class. It's because we have this right now.
Shoot, you're right. Yeah, because the bus left 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
So you guys are holding us back, really, is what it is. I'm kidding. I love you. No better way. I'd rather spend my Thursdays.
True.
Maybe if I had a better co-host, that'd be different.
Yeah.
If Jordan Wright was my co-host, that'd be cool.
Imagine if he was on the pod.
I'll take what I can get. Imagine if he was here. It would be so cool if Jordan Wright was on our
It would
pod.
cause so many viewers to watch.
It would really be, I'd have to imagine it'd be the breakout of our podcast. We would get national attention. Scottie Pippen would then be like, hey, I can be on your podcast. And be like, yes, Mr. Pip. It'd be great. That's something that I hope for dearly, that Jordan Wright comes on our podcast. But back to what I was saying. We play MTSU. They're not great. I'm not going to lie to you. They're not great.
So we taking dubs.
We're not a phenomenal team. We're like, I think 44% on the year, and that's after 2 straight wins. So like we're not like, oh, the clear best.
But we got hot at the right time.
And we're not MTSU, and we are on a roll. We've allowed sub 45 and have scored above 70 in 2 straight games, and it was darn close against Florida in our last.
And we choked against Florida.
It was darn close.
That's okay.
I think that just the Florida loss came down to it's Coach Ruff's first year. Next year, she gets that right.
I think it's just we stopped scoring. We tried.
That as well. But do you know what? The last play is what I think that's, give her another year, she'll figure that out. You know, that scoring runs happen. That's something that you can't change that much.
I think also we got a little robbed with that Jordan Cambridge deal, and that's not the point. That's not the point. We talked about that on the pod the last time.
We talked about that like 3 episodes ago if you want to know what we're talking about. But, so yeah, we play MTSU tonight. Thinking about next year, I'm thinking a lot. It'll be an interesting year because Jordan is going to be gone as she is graduating. Brene Alexander announced she'll be transferring for her last year or years. I can't remember how many she has of eligibility.
Really?
Yeah, it's tough. But I
wonder why.
Well, she has talent. She can get into a big program where she can do stuff, I think, which is interesting.
That's fair.
She's not our number one go-to person, though she is our top scorer, I think. She's very good at what she does, and we wish her the very best.
Yeah.
She'll be hard to replace, but I think Sasha Washington slides in her spot very well.
I keep forgetting Brene is a forward.
Yeah. I think that'll give us more height, too, because Sasha's tall.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. Sasha Washington's going to mature to be a very good player on our team. I think if you...
she's already a good player on her team.
Oh, yeah, she's a solid contributor. She did really well. I can't remember the stats because my computer's dead, but she did really well in these last 2 games as well. But I like the future of our team. We've got some good commits. I don't remember their names, but we'll talk about it on a later episode, probably after the season. Or, next year, we'll see. But we'll definitely talk about this more. I like the future of our team. I think Coach Ralph, coming from UConn, being with incredible coaches, incredible players, she coached Paige Beckers, for Pete's sake. Are you kidding me? That's one heck of a coach. Like, if you're surrounded with those people, you're going to be doing well. There was the question of, can she take the helm? And I think she can. We've had a big amount of growth from last year, and I'd say a good chunk of it is her.
Yeah.
A bit of it is Jordan Cambridge maturing and becoming that girl.
Defensive player of the year.
Absolute unit. A bit of it is Ayana. A bit of it is Brene. A bit of it is Sasha.
But that's her recruiting class.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And her first official recruiting class, where she's been there the whole time, is next year.
No.
Which I can't remember the numbers, but I think it's a really good one. I think it's like high in the SEC. But we are already really late, so we're not going to take a bunch of time looking that up. But that's all we got to say for women's. We really do hope that they do well tonight and that we keep winning. I know if we win this, we'll play some bums next. So basically 2 wins in a row if we don't, get cold. But Chris, you want to see what you can see there and then transition to men's basketball?
Yeah, so I'm looking up
Allow me to grab my phone.
Recruiting class rankings. I'm looking at it. We have a lot of people, it seems like, but anyway, it doesn't really matter all that much. But so men's basketball, we also were in the NIT, which we talked about last time, and our first game was versus Belmont that we talked about last week.
Yep.
And then we played a game versus Dayton in which Willem's entire family came and we watched it together. It was an amazing game that Scotty scored 32. Man was going crazy. Everybody was putting in their part. We kind of had some defensive breakdowns at the end, and it actually went to overtime. And then we actually ended up winning in overtime by 2. Liam Robbins had an insane block and bucket to go ahead in the final seconds. And so we won that game, and it was a great game. It was amazingly hype. It was close all the way through. We knocked off the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. That was really cool.
Oh, my whole family was there. We were up in the upper level, absolutely losing our minds. I had a research study, right after it, and I was like, I have to stay for this. It was intense. So it was, oh my gosh, it was one heck of a game. It was my dad's birthday too.
Yeah.
So like for his birthday, he went to that big basketball game. It was really enjoyable.
It was a lot of fun
to go to with Chris and with my family. And good grief.
It was a heck of a game. And so then we went and we played Xavier in what was the Elite Eight of the NIT.
Xavier's a solid team.
And Xavier's a good team.
I think every year they're a tournament, maybe.
The thing is we end up losing to Xavier.
It's tough.
We led for 99% of the game. Like, Xavier almost never led throughout the entirety of the game.
We were doing really well. We had like a 10-point lead at one point.
Yeah, we had like a 10-point lead with like 6 minutes left.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was just Miles Studi decided he was going to take like 4 heat check threes, and he missed all of them.
If he made at least like one of them.
Yeah, the thing is, it was definitely us. Jordan Wright didn't have his best game that he's ever had. He actually had a chance to tie the game with like 6 seconds left or something.
1 free throws.
And he bricked them. Like,
he bricked the first.
Yeah,
so he didn't get a second. It was tough. But here's like the reason we're in these big games late in the season is because we got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
Every game we're not going to perform as well as we have these last couple games. You know, that's not who we are at this point in our growth as a program. The reason we're winning and we're doing so well is because we got hot. You can't expect Jordan Wright to put up 24 a game.
I don't expect him to put 24 a game, but I expect him to hit free throws.
Yeah, too. But like, I think it just comes down to we burn out, at the end of.
Yeah, it was a tragic loss. I was upset, but I don't think anybody played badly. The only. It was a well-executed game plan. We played well, and we just didn't have it at the end. And that's, that happens sometimes in basketball.
It's a tough end to a good
great season. The thing
I think this is a big thing for Jerry.
We ended 19 and 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's above 500 by a bit.
By 2 games.
Yeah, 2 games above 500.
But, so, while that is certainly a step forward, it is not where we want to be.
No.
But compared to the last 5 seasons,
good grief,
it is certainly a step forward.
Yeah. And we've had talent the past 5 seasons. We had Darius Garland who got hurt, Aaron Nesmith who got hurt. But we had good guys and our records didn't reflect it.
No.
And now that we have great coaching and more depth and better guys, we're really becoming the program we can be.
Yeah.
And we just need to continue to ride that growth and just do our thing.
I think, in my opinion, a lot of the reasoning why we didn't match up well a lot of the times is because we've kind of been forced to play Miles Studi at the 4, and Miles Studi is not a 4.
No.
He is, I would almost consider him a 2.
I think he is a 2. They line him up at the 2.
Yeah, but on offense. But on defense, he plays the 4.
Yeah, the issue is that we have Liam and Quentin as our 2 big men. Neither one of them are remotely mobile.
No, they're not 4s.
So the issue is, we could have them on the court for size, but when it comes down to getting down the court and defending, they can't do it against 4s. Against some bigs, that are not that athletic, they can match up really well. But against these, especially now that basketball's trending towards athleticism and smaller shooting, stretching, Liam and Quentin don't fit the bill defensively for that. So you have to change it up. Miles fills that spot kind of in a way that he can't.
He's only 6'5".
Yeah, he's 6'7".
Is he 6'7"?
He's a big guy. Have you seen him? He's so tall. I see him every once in a while, and I'm like, good grief.
Miles is 6'7"?
He's what's his name's height?
I can't believe that.
He's the same height as Spencer Jones.
No.
He's a big guy, man. He's listed at 6'7". He's probably 6'6". But good grief, he's a big guy. And I think he's just not a defensive guy, and in the paint. Holy Lord. No shame in not being able to guard the paint. When you shoot the 3 like he does and defend the perimeter like he does, you shouldn't need to do anything else. He's not built for that.
He's not big enough in terms of width to be a 4. Like, when I think of a power forward, I think of somebody like Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I think of Drew Timmy. Guys that are bigger. I'm looking at them.
That is a bad
Dirk Nowitzki.
Thicker guys.
Yeah, big guys. Are you kidding me?
Miles Studi is like if you took a shooting guard and then dragged him up in Microsoft Word.
Yeah, you're like.
And so, but what the thing is next year we are returning Jordan, Studi, Q, and Liam. The thing is we are definitely not returning Rodney.
Liam.
Liam's coming back.
I thought his eligibility was gone.
No. And so Rodney is definitely gone. I'm very sad about that. I love Rodney Chapman.
Eligibility.
Scotty technically has another year, if not 2.
We're gonna see what he wants to do for like pro prospects.
Yeah.
I think he could logistically do what a guy like Joel Ayayi did last year, where he doesn't get drafted, but he immediately signs a contract with some team. He'll probably play in the G League, get called up a little with need.
He can do that next year too.
I don't think he's an NBA guy right now. Yeah, I think give him one more year, we're gonna get into the tournament. If we return all those guys, we're a tournament team next year.
I mean, I think if we had Liam and
Rod all year, we're a tournament team.
Give
us one more year, we're a tournament team. That'll help his stock,
Liam and Rodney played 9 games together.
Yep. And how many of those did we win?
I think 7.
Yes. It's either that number or 8.
It's just very, very sad that those guys couldn't all play together, because I think that if everybody was healthy, we would have been a tournament team by far. I think we would have been.
Oh gosh, that's a trend, man.
Yeah.
Because we lost. Shoot, how did I forget his name? Plays in Cleveland, friends with
Darius Garland.
Yeah, we lost Darius after 5 games when he was here, and then he went pro. We lost Aaron like a game into SEC play, and then he went pro. We have had injuries. Rod got injured 3 times this year. He didn't play all of the non-conference because of a lingering injury, and then he got injured twice after that. Liam didn't play almost the whole season.
Yeah. So
that's tough, man.
It's just, I have a lot of hope for next year. If Scotty comes back, we're instantly a tournament team.
Yep.
Especially with a recruiting class that's pretty good coming in.
Yeah, we are SEC contenders, legitimately.
I don't know, but contenders.
Top 4, top 5 in the conference, I'd say, contenders.
Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee.
That's it.
Arkansas.
Nope. I'm watching them play right now, and I can tell you we can beat them.
I think Arkansas is going to be better than us.
I think we have a great team, man.
I think that we have a good team. I think we're biased.
We have talent. Fair. I'm very biased.
I think that we would be a top 6 team.
Yeah, I can't name any other than those 5 that are better than us. Like Texas A&M. When's Texas joining the conference?
2 years from now.
Good. And then Oklahoma's also
forgot
coming
about that.
Which
one's
we've
going
never
to the
talked
East?
about that. What'd you say?
Which one's going to the East? Which one's going to the West?
Maybe they'll kick someone from the West to the East and have them both go to the West, because Oklahoma and Texas would be the 2 westernmost teams in the conference.
Yeah, but then
you can't kick one of the East.
Yeah.
Well,
but Missouri's in the East.
Fair. It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Like New Orleans is in the Western Conference of the NBA until they get a team in Las Vegas.
But
besides the point.
Yeah, I was happy with how basketball went this year.
Yeah, it was a great year. So nice.
But so I guess moving forward, we only have baseball really, and then we have
women's and baseball.
Yeah. But other than that,
I don't understand lacrosse. I'd like to talk about it more. If you do know lacrosse, DM me, because I want to learn, please. I don't want to the notifications pull up on my phone. It's like end of the first quarter, 10-5, and I'm like,
is that good?
I don't know what that means. Like, I assume if you have more, you're winning, right?
Well, sure.
Yeah,
but is that like a...
Is that like, are we a low-scoring team? Is we a high-scoring team? Are we ranked? What's Mark Few saying?
But
I don't know. If you want to teach me lacrosse, let me know. But other than that, looking forward, I just now started thinking of this. We just have baseball. We don't. What other sports do we have? outdoor track and field starts? When's the bowling season? No.
I think bowling season is on.
Really?
Yep.
Gee, we should go to a bowling
I'm not going to a bowling match.
You gonna go bowling sometime though?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, with that being said, I think we're done.
I think that about wraps it up.
Next week, we're gonna have Julian. We're very excited for that. We hope you guys are too. But with that being said, this has been Show Em The Dore, and we'll see you guys next week.